is Dinesh Lathi. I am the Vice President of Buying and Selling Experience for eBay North America. I have been with eBay for 6 years. I joined the company in April of 2004. Married, kids, the whole bit.
What do you like to do on your day off?
I like to get a day off first.
Okay, first, that's the first part.
When I get them, I love to swim, and I love to windsurf, and I love to surf.
What position did you have prior to this one? I mean, well, let's just go through what have you done for eBay in the last few years?
I've had a number of positions at eBay. Having been an investment banker and having been in private equity, I came into eBay through the finance department, which is where I got my start in 2004. From there, I went into trust and safety. From Trust and Safety, I took over all of the sellers experience for North America. And then recently, I want to say October of 2009, I took over both the buying and the selling experience for North America.
Let's break it down. What's the experience? Or, you know what I'm saying? What's, for...
Yeah, the buying experience, very simply, is when you go to buy something on eBay, how do you experience our site? Was it easy? Did you find the things you were looking for? After you bought them, did they come in the mail properly, on time, properly packaged? You open up the package, was it the thing that you expected? That whole end-to-end chain from the minute you walk into the front door of the store, which is coming to ebay.com, all the way to the end when you're kicking back and watching your new big screen TV and enjoying it. That's the buying experience.
I'm just wondering, do you think that eBay has changed a little bit from, I mean, I used to think of it as an advertising platform, literally. And it seems like now, marketplace, do you think that there has been a little bit of shift? I mean, like if you got something to sell, advertising here, you can sell it, versus now we are actually a marketplace.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there has been a shift, and it's been a trend towards helping our sellers better meet the expectations and the evolving, increasingly tough expectations of e-commerce buyers. And we all know there's competition out in the world. And just for eBay, it's no different. We have competitors out there that are doing, in many dimensions, an excellent job for the buyer. And if they're doing a better job than we're helping our sellers do, then the buyers are going to go somewhere else. So we've absolutely taken a more active role in the marketplace. And that more active role is really geared all around helping our sellers do a better job of delighting the buyer. And significant portion of the sold items, the transactions that are happening on the site, are going towards our top-rated sellers, and that is by design. We want top-rated sellers are people that we know, sellers that we know, merchants that are consistently delivering great buying experiences. So all things considered, I would love, and we are now via our search algorithms, pushing traffic towards those kinds of sellers. And as you would expect, they're receiving a disproportionate share of the traffic.
That's the 80-20 rule.
That's a good rule. It's
That's
good for the
I
buyer.
mean, basically, we don't know the actual percentage, like you say, you don't give it out, but it's probably like 20% of those sellers are out there that are doing great stuff, and they're providing like 80% of the satisfaction that you're getting on the platform from buyers.
It's good for sellers that are doing a great job for buyers. It's good for buyers because they're getting great service. And it's good for eBay because buyers and sellers come back when they get to transact. That's the whole point of a marketplace.
All right, let's get to the big three, all right? These are the big three from the seller community that follows me.
Let's get into it.
All right? Number one, feedback.
Yeah.
What's wrong? I was in Australia. We're doing the Australia eBay thing.
Yeah.
And who's the president down there?
Deb Sharkey.
Deb. She was on. She did all this, speaking, and then it's like, open up the questions. And I was floored that the first three questions out of everybody's mouth was about feedback. And so I'm like, okay, now that happens here in the U.S., and then it goes down there and it's happening. So
what's the feedback question?
It's always really about the fact that there's, what the feedback question usually is. It's about a specific incident where somebody's being an asshole.
Yeah.
I guess what it really is, it boils down to is why is it so impactful for a seller to have a negative experience with a buyer that they constantly, that is always the number one thing on their mind.
Yeah, I mean, you have to ask the sellers why that is. Here's what we think about, which is, it is a fact of being in business that you will deal with an entire spectrum of consumers. And if you're running a good business, the vast majority, but never 100% of your customers will be satisfied and delighted with the service you provide. There will always be that very small percentage of people that, for whatever reason, it's impossible to please them, right? And every restaurant, every department store, every boutique out there deals with that very small percentage. And all of the systems we've put in place, whether it's our top-rated seller program or anything else, recognizes that there is that small percentage out there. If you think about the top-rated seller program, it's not saying you must be perfect. It's saying you must be great. So it's made allowances for that small percentage out there. And that's why I think they're well-constructed programs. And that's my natural reaction when I hear people say, I got one or two bad feedbacks from a buyer. These things happen in business. Now, the opposite end of the spectrum is when we think there's a buyer out there that has been habitually or systematically leaving negative feedback or somehow abusing the feedback system. That stuff I absolutely want to hear about, because we've committed to the selling community, and I'll commit it again, that we don't want those buyers negatively impacting the marketplace. That is not one of the norms of the behaviors that we will tolerate in this marketplace.
Some people really do feel like that. It's, like you said, you don't expect them to be perfect, but they feel like you want them to be damn near perfect. So
we absolutely want the designation to mean something, right? And it's, we don't think it's been set too high or too strict, just given the volume of transactions that are happening and the number of people that have qualified for that program. It's absolutely an attainable standard, and rightly so. We're going to put a lot of rewards and incentives associated with that standard. It's definitely achievable. We want it to be something, we want it to mean something to the buyer, and no, it's not perfection, but it's great service. It's absolutely great service.
Free shipping. They
Yeah.
really are feeling like eBay is forcing their hand with the free shipping. While even, the public has their perception, but it's also on top of that perception, we have eBay that is also reinforcing the free shipping.
This is one of our jobs as a marketplace manager, is to understand the evolving needs of today's e-commerce buyer. And you've seen it, I know you have. Everyone else that's out there that reads the research and the blogs and all the press releases they can put out, increasingly free shipping is an expectation of the e-commerce buyer. So what eBay can do for all of our selling community is make sure there are good incentives for our sellers to meet those evolving needs of the buyer. And if free shipping is one of those evolving needs, then the right thing for us to do as a marketplace manager is make sure that our selling community has the right incentives to meet those expectations.
Okay. But we know there's no such thing as free shipping.
We absolutely do.
Okay. He said that. He did.
There is no such thing as free shipping for a seller.
Right.
Until the post office starts giving it away, we recognize that. But
Right.
that's true not only for all the sellers on eBay, it's true for everybody we're competing against in e-commerce. It is a fact of doing business on the internet today, and we've got to help our sellers compete.
Let's talk about best practices for doing free shipping. Because we all know, like you said, it's not free.
Yeah.
So how do people actually, supplement that either loss or, get that balance so that they're still profitable?
Yeah. So first, lower your shipping costs. So eBay has made arrangements with certain carriers, right? There are discounts that are available to power sellers that can help you lower your overall cost of shipping, right? So start the march down towards free. And then I think it's really a matter of experimentation about how much do I put in the item price versus the shipping price, and how does that impact my conversion rates and my overall profitability. And I think it probably varies by every item in every different industry. In some industries and some items, the expectation of buyers for free shipping is going to be a lot higher than others. So it's really incumbent on the sellers to look around at the competitive environment. We see sort of the macro picture, but for an individual seller of iPods or DVDs or clothing items, there may be nuances in each one of those industries. Study the competition, look at what buyers are doing, and then adjust accordingly.
Now, I'm a multi-platform seller, so I know about other platforms and what they do and stuff like that. One of the things I find kind of unique about eBay is that they tie discounts and performance, discounts strictly on DSRs, and it's kind and it's based on not actual performance, but somebody's thought of that
Perception of
perception of,
performance.
thank you, the perception of performance. Do you see that as an issue, or why do we choose to go that route? And I'll give you an example. I mean, on the Amazon platform, let's just go, I can't stand this. But on the Amazon platform, I mean, basically, you get fulfillment status, you get return status, you get late shipment status. All of these things also factor into your, placement. Why just DSRs?
So the buyer's opinion of how the transaction went is absolutely an important aspect. If you delivered the meal on time and it was hot and correctly spiced and all the silverware was properly set, that customer still had a bad dining experience, you've got to deal with that fact at the end of the day. That being said, you'll notice that we've made a small change in DSRs. I want you to think about this as a sign of things to come and the kinds of things we're thinking about right now, which is free shipping, for example. Free shipping is free for the buyer. It can't get a lot cheaper than free. On those DSRs now, if your buyer actually bought the item with free shipping, what's your new DSR score as a seller?
5-star?
5 stars.
Right.
We're not asking the buyer. We know they bought it with free shipping. We're going to put the 5 stars in.
Why wouldn't you do that retro?
So we have not, and one of the reasons is there used to be some edge cases where people could do things like free shipping but mandatory insurance, mandatory handling charges. So there were ways to sort of offer free shipping, but it wasn't really free. We have over time sort of eliminated all of those different loopholes one by one to the point where we felt very comfortable that if as a buyer you bought something with free shipping, you were actually getting it for free. But those things have only recently come to bear in the past few months here, right? So we don't want to go all the way back because then you might be unwinding things that weren't really free. But we feel really good about going forward. Free shipping really was free shipping, and that's why we're willing to make this adjustment.
Good.
And what you're seeing there is a hint of some thinking around where we know the data and we know the information. Are there things we can do to actually rate the seller's performance where we don't necessarily need to ask the buyer, but we can ask the buyer other questions, things like, were you satisfied with this transaction overall?
As a marketplace, how now is eBay different? What is your USP now? I mean, back in the day you had this auction thing. That was pretty different.
Yeah.
Now, it seems like there's a lot of mainstream stuff going on the eBay platform that we see on other marketplaces. But how is eBay, different?
It is still the only place where just about anybody can sell just about anything to anyone, anywhere. It's a global marketplace. It's got incredible user volumes and transaction volumes. It's the world's largest online marketplace. And the diversity of the inventory that we're bringing is a fantastic opportunity for our sellers and is an incredible draw for our buyers.
Okay, last question.
Yes.
What's next?
What's next? So I'm not going to talk about what's next.
You know what? I'll tell you what. Give me the long term and short term.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The long term is continuing to innovate in a way that addresses the needs of this evolving customer base that we talked about, both the buyers and the sellers. And I'm not going to tell you about what's coming because that's private, secret. But what I'm going to do is point you to some things that we have done that give you an idea of the way we're thinking about the evolution of the e-commerce buyer and seller. And I think mobile is just such a fantastic example of the way eBay has innovated in a way that addresses the way people are changing their buying behaviors online. And the mobile business was small. It was not meaningful. You go back, maybe 3-4 years ago, there was nothing there. And in 2010 alone, we're estimating we're going to do about $1.5 billion in mobile transactions. We're over 10 million downloads for iPhone and iPhone-related applications, right? On the iPad, at one point, we were installed on nearly 33% of the existing base. So we have made something like mobile. We saw what's going on with the customers, how's behavior changing. Here's an innovation that's going to continue to help buyers interact with our marketplace, bring traffic and new ways of shopping in a way that lets our sellers continue to access this buyer base. Think about that as sort of the theme for eBay's ongoing innovation. Innovating with, on, and behalf of our customers.
Dinesh interview, take one. First,